Though I was born in a Hindu family, I was never a religious person till I was in my mid-30s. That's when I got married. 2 years after my marriage, my wife conceived, and halfway through her pregnancy, something happened. I met someone. In fact, I met three different people from three different religions who actually predicted something. And these three people don't know each other. There was a Hindu lady, a Taoist man, and a Muslim man. They said exactly the same thing about something that was about to happen. I actually bumped into the three of them. It was not an arranged meeting. And they asked me how I was. I said, well, I'm married now, and my wife is expecting in a few months' time. We're going to have a baby. And they paused for a moment and said something that really shook me out of my wits. All the three of them separately, they told me that the baby that your wife is carrying doesn't look good. If it's born alive, it will be deformed. You know, they said, sorry, I have to tell you this, but this is what I can see, you know. Three different people telling me the same thing, you know, and it really got me shocked. I didn't want to share this with my wife, my mom, or my in-laws, because we were halfway through the pregnancy and she was going to give birth in about a few months' time. So I was worried, you know, and the last person that I saw, the Chinese man, the Taoist man, I asked him, you know, what do you think I should do? He said, there's something that you can do, you know, to change things around, you know. I asked him what, and he said, whichever God you believe in, right, you pray that, you know, your child will be born normal and your wife will be healthy and normal, you know, without endangering her life. So I told him, I don't really pray. I go to temples, but I don't really pray as in pray properly, you know. So he said, well, I've told you this, you think about it. Whichever temple you go to and pray, you pray that if your child your child is born healthy and your wife is all right, you will do something in return. So I was cracking my head, you know, what am I going to do? This is like really shocking. I was really like, I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't tell anybody. You know, something came into my mind, and I actually went to Mariamman Temple, our Sri Mariamman Temple in Chinatown. You know, I went straight to her and I prayed, you know, Amma, you know, three different people have told me the same thing, you know, and these three people don't know each other. And my child is about to be born. How am I going to break this news to my my family? Anyway, I've decided, if my child is born normal, my wife is healthy, I will do firewalking for the next 3 years. This is what I actually told her, and I made up my mind, you know. In fact, most of my family members know I don't even know how to light up a stove. I got phobia for fire and all that, you know. But I actually vowed that I will do firewalking for 3 years. And after taking that vow, I went back home and actually told my mother and my in-laws. My wife was actually having a difficult pregnancy, and all of us knew that, you know. So I told my in-laws and my mother and my wife that since the pregnancy is a bit difficult, I prayed that, you know, if you have a safe delivery, I will do firewalking for 3 years. You know, I've actually went to Mariamman Temple and took the vow, and they were all shocked, you know, because they know that I'm quite, I'm not a very bold person. Certain things I have phobia and all that, and when my father-in-law heard that, he was shocked. He said, oh dear, you have prayed for such a thing, you know, so you have to do it, you know. You should have spoken to us before that. I said, no, I've made up my mind and I will do it. I leave it to the goddess, you know. Probably this is a message for me. So I called up my brother-in-law, who is a seasoned firewalker. He's no longer around. He has passed away. He had been firewalking for many years in Singapore. So I told him that I have to do firewalking this year. Guide me along. So he told me what to do, the fasting and all that for 2 weeks, you know, sleeping on the floor, strictly vegetarian, sleeping alone in the hall, things like that. So a few months after that, my son was born, and he was a healthy boy. My wife was good. There were no problems, and we were all really elated. We were really very happy. For in my family, he was just another boy, but for my father-in-law's family, right, it was their first boy in the family. In fact, my mother-in-law actually said, for the first time, someone in my family is going to do national service. So he was a great gift to our family. And 3 months down the road, I told myself that I have to prepare for my first firewalking. Firewalking day came. In fact, the eve of firewalking, just before I left home, my son was about 3 months old, and a 3-month-old baby actually blessed me. I hadn't shaved for 2 weeks. He actually touched my face and did this, he did this, and then he smiled, as if he was blessing me. So I was very happy to see that. And my father-in-law told me, usually before you step onto the pit, right, the fire pit, you might have fear, you might change your mind and all that. If that happens, don't worry, just leave it to the goddess. She will bring you through. I said, okay, uncle, thanks. And I left, getting blessings from my mom, my mother-in-law, father-in-law, and my aunt, my atte. She was my father's elder sister. I went to get blessings from her, and of course my baby and my wife. And we actually went to the temple. I met my brother-in-law in the temple. That's where I experienced a number of things.